Hi YouTube, it's Ben here again. Welcome back to PickACard Tutorials. Thank you for subscribing. If you subscribed after watching my first tutorial, Sybil in the Rain, I hope you enjoyed that and you picked something up from that. Today I've got a much shorter tutorial. After sort of 25-minute marathon on Sybil in the Rain, I thought I'd do something a little bit quicker and shorter to look at. So today I'm going to be showing you my favourite colour change. The colour change that I do in an awful lot of my routines. There are a few tutorials about it already on YouTube. This is another swing on it. I'm going to give you some performance tips, ways to utilise it in your acts, and general sort of points on it. The Shapeshifter Colour Change looks like that, okay? Where you get one card and it physically turns into another. I'm just going to do that with a better example. Yeah, you have it right there, and just go, so watch your card very carefully and actually see it just change into another one. You get that very nice snapping noise, which makes it a very effective thing. It's like bang, something has happened, rather than that actually just being a part of the trick. This is a very easy colour change to do. It just takes a little bit of practice and it will take some getting used to. Also, it's going to make a lot of difference depending which sort of deck of cards you're using. If you're using a brand new deck of cards, if you're using a deck of cards that's slightly worn in. This one is slightly worn in. I've been using these for about a week now, so they're quite worn in. I'll show you the basic moves first of all. The basic moves of the Shapeshifter. It involves getting a double first of all. So from the front that looks perfectly innocent. From the educational angle on the other camera though, you'll see I've got a pinky break right there underneath the top two cards. Okay, so you keep that pinky break and you turn that one over lengthways. Turn it over lengthways. You can turn it over sideways if you like, but then it just gets in the way, I find. So turn it over lengthways and hold it right there. Now, the grip is very important. You grip it between the thumb of your left hand and the middle finger of your left hand. Again, just going on what I said on the previous videos, if you need to swap the hands around because you deal cards the other way, that's just swap the hands around when I say one hand. Okay, so you're holding them in this sort of self-made double backer, if you like, in between the thumb of the left hand and the middle finger of the left hand, all right? Now, it's important that that grip isn't too tight. If that grip is too tight, when it comes through the ping, it's going to do something funny or, fly off or something. You don't want that. You don't want it to fly off. So just keep it on that grip. It doesn't want to be too loose though, because at the same time, if you flick it and it's too loose, again, it's either going to fly away or it's going to do multiple rotations around, okay? So just keep it in a sort of, experiment with the grip. You don't want it like that because that does look dodgy, but just keep it in a sort of a nice grip there so it looks like, a perfectly reasonable way to hold a card. And then the execution of the flick, it's with the other hand, and it's the same fingers, the thumb and the middle finger, and it just comes underneath and you just flick it. And that's a really bad example. You just flick and it just changes. Now the subtlety with this that the spectators shouldn't pick up on is that obviously when you're holding it, to begin with, you've got the pip corners. Once you've done the change, you're holding the non-pip corners there, okay? So just looking at that execution in this other camera right here, you don't want to be doing that. It's not a powerful wham, let's go. It's not a catapult that you're firing. But at the same time, don't just want to do that because that's with too loose a grip, it's going to go flying, okay? So you want a reasonably solid grip, and it just sort of plucks at it, okay? I just sort of think of it as just pulling it down and it just turns over. Okay, so that's the basic execution, and that will just take a little bit of time just to find the right angles, the right way to hold the card, the amount of power you're going to want to give it. And again, every time you open up a new deck of cards, you're going to want to experiment with the amount of pull you're going to have to give to that to get an effective colour change right there. Okay. I say the last thing you want in a performance is to be going off like that and just dropping them everywhere. Okay, so that's the basic mechanics of the trick of the move. It's not really a trick that you do on its own. It's a colour change. It's part of something grander and something bigger. So you wouldn't ever just say, "Hey, what's this? Look at that card. There it goes. Do you see it go?" I mean, you might do that as a sort of introduction to something else, but it's got no context. So the way I usually do it, I normally tend to open an ambitious card routine with this one. Or a swap of some sort. So if they take out the card, the Four of Hearts in this case, and we lose it back into the deck. Once you've got it back into the deck, we'll control it to the top. Now, at some point in the future, we're going to look at various controls that you can utilise, and a few more fake shuffles as well. That's all for the future. So once you've got it to the top, obviously you don't want it on the top, you want it second from top in order to be the colour change. So at this point, I'll normally make a gag of some sort. I'll just say, right, if you just say stop anywhere you like, right there. Okay. Was that your card? Jack of clubs, and they'll say no. I said, don't worry, no one gets it right first time, or don't worry, I'm a magician, I've been practicing, or don't worry, you found the wrong card, something like that. You make a joke out, make light out of it. It's quite fun if you've got a group of people. You can talk to somebody else, say, now you saw his card, say stop. Was that it? Did you stop his card? Don't worry, no one gets it right first time. Tell you what, it's your card though, so all you need to do is think about your card and watch very carefully. You'll actually see it jump into your card. So that's a really nice application. Then you can do a Charlier or something to bury the other card in the deck. And then from there you can go into a number of different things you can do with an ambitious card routine. So that's some application for it. Just getting clean at the end, just as I did touch on that before. Say you want to keep the deck in that grip, you don't want to put the deck down, because then you've got no way of getting out. So if you put the deck down, you've done the colour change, and you think, I've got nowhere to get rid of the extra card. So practice doing this while holding the deck, because it's not one of those things where you can ditch half the deck and practice doing that. I mean, you can practice doing that if you like, but because this trick does need to run with the rest of the deck in your hand. So just keeping that in mechanics grip there, and you can just flick it around. So you want to have a good clearance of the deck, because if otherwise you're going to be colliding with the deck on the spin. Also, your index finger of your left hand, you want to keep that well clear. You don't want to tuck that under like that, because you can see when it spins it's going to connect right there with that index finger. So you want to keep that well out of the way for doing this, and it will just spin very nicely. I say the subtlety that you're not holding the pip corners will go unnoticed. So in order to do the cleanup right there, say you literally you do the flick. And the way I do it, I tend to literally just drop it straight on. It's not a big move. This colour change, it's not a big thing going on. You literally you flick and drop, and then you just push it off. And if you're handing that out to be shown doing that, you Charlier the deck, and then say the 4 of hearts is buried back down into the deck. So no one's thinking, oh, well, also obviously the top card. And if you do that under the guise of misdirection, then that's absolutely fine. And I don't think anyone will pick up on that. So yeah, that's the Shapeshifter Colour Change. Get it right there, bang, changes into the other card. That was a bad example, I changed a 9 into the 10. But yeah, I mean, other sort of practical applications of this, is good to change from a red pip into a black picture card, or vice versa. Black to red is always good, hence the name Colour Change. It's sort of implied that that's what you want to do, although it doesn't necessarily have to. Say if I'm doing the trick where I've got someone to select a card, say the 5 of spades, and let's say I've got, for argument's sake, a similar card, so the 4 of spades or something is on top. Or sorry, rather the 4 of spades is there where they control it to, and they stop me right there. Their card goes back in. By the time you've passed it, the 4 of spades is the next card down. I've done that. I hope you know what I mean by that. If, you get a colour change where it's like that, and it's not much different. That happens sometimes if you're going to do it in that capacity. Say the worst thing you can do with this is just literally go up to someone and say, hey, watch this, watch carefully, watch, bang, it changes. It doesn't really mean anything, it doesn't do anything without sort of a wider context to it. So basic tips, top tips for getting the shapeshifter right. Just experiment, get the grip. The grip will not take you long to get at all. Get that right there. Make sure you keep your fingers clear. Experiment with the amount of power you need to get. Another thing, make sure you flick from the thumb, so the thumb comes away first, so it goes around that way. You can do a shapeshifter where it goes around the other way, and you may well find that more comfortable to do it that way, but I think it's much more natural to have it spin that way rather than that way. Okay, so yeah, just a few points there to think about. So there are some routines that you can incorporate this into, and say the ambitious card routine is one that I use it for all the time. Another application for this is, I got the idea from a trick Sean Farquhar does, set to Sting's song Shape of My Heart, that you can do, and it's just a combination of 3 colour changes you can have. You know that these spades are the swords of a soldier, you know that these clubs are weapons of war, you know that diamonds are a money for this art, but that's not the shape of my heart. Okay, and that's just utilising 3 colour changes, the wave change, the Erdnase, and then the shapeshifter at the end. And actually that leaves you completely clean at the end. Obviously you've got the other 3 aces on the top there, but the other 3 leaves you clean. So that's another application, and in due course I'll show you a tutorial for the Erdnase colour change, and also for the wave change. But that's another tutorial for another day. That's it for now. Again, any questions, anything unclear there in the tutorial, do leave a comment. Please subscribe. I'm up to a few subscribers already, which is really nice. Hopefully everyone's liking the new theme tune. If not, you'll get used to it, as it's going to be on the start of all the videos from now. So do leave me a comment, do subscribe, send me an email, check out the website pickacardtutorials.com, and that's it for today. I'll see you again.